guys, welcome to Clockwork Noodles for another breakdown of the Ancient Magus Bride, Season 2, Episode 11, the penultimate episode. Can you believe that the season is nearly over? In 2 weeks' time, you're getting my end of season review. I'm going to come at you with my anime awards, the fun things that I want to crown and take note this season. I've got some fun ones, I can't wait. You guys should hopefully like them. And I'm going to tell you what 3 shows I really enjoyed, including my honourable mention. And I always call it dishonourable, but I don't think it's quite right. I'm going to say letdown or just disappointment. I was really excited to go into this, therefore it let me down. I'm going to try and keep it less negative. I like this. We're going to try and be as positive as we can on this show. You do get a show that you really, really want to be good and it just doesn't live up to the hype. We will see what that show was for Becca at the end of the season. If you are not subscribed, please do. We are still only one noodling away from getting that 700 before the end of the season. Finding me for the first time, hi, I break down anime on a weekly basis. Next season is going to be something a little bit different. We're breaking down a couple of animes. It's going to be more horror based next season. I'm quite excited for that. It's going to be a bit of a tone shift. That, and we've also got my new feature where I'm going to 12 first episodes of anime that I love. I've seen before, saw maybe a few years back or even as long ago as 10 years ago. Gonna go in with a fresh eye, veteran at this point who's very close to getting to that 1000 anime scene mark, but I'm gonna see if it lives up to the hype, tell you guys what I still love, why I think it stands the test of time, hopefully get you guys into some anime that you may not have known existed. Can't wait to bring that to you. Let's get straight to it because we've got one hell of an episode and I still think my theory is correct. So I'm going to stand by my theory and I will elaborate on it a little bit this week because the new information we get still builds nicely to the theory I'm building. Now, I did like the fact that we have this forbidden book. Elias, like a boss, just reads it. It's just the usual typical bad book. I found it really boring. Absolute legend for being able to read a book like that, which is so evil that it's just boring to him. That's why we love Elias, of course. Something that does lean into my theory a little bit is the attacker was present at the bad camping trip and in school. That means it narrows down the suspects. That person has to be within the class that went on the camping trip. I still believe Philomela acting on behalf of her grandma, so I'm going to be calling her Grandma Mela. I realised that I lumped her in with the head teacher who is not technically her. They do look very similar, but that might just be because they're both old women with silver hair. Grandma hasn't really shown her eyes just yet. I have a feeling they're probably going to be purple anyway. I believe she's acting on her behalf. I believe that Philomela was sent to kill everybody and Lucy. Back at the Webster tragedy, she was found cowering in the corner, but we completely, on purpose, swept over that fact. She was sent to complete the mission. At the end, something even bigger that really does back my idea is the fact that she's now withdrawn because her task is supposedly complete. I will go into when we get there. But yeah, I still believe that it all lines up nicely to my belief. Chisei's face as Elias announces that he might have a potential friend is absolutely hilarious because he's got people who I think would be better friends, or at least would have been the first friend. There's been a few people who he hangs out with quite a bit who I would have said would have made a good first friend or would have been that childhood friend that's been with you for a long time. So it's to her quite strange that he's got a friend, but it's also somebody who is more of a minor character, which I think is quite nice. There is a really nice bit of cello playing in this next section as Chisei sadly walks down the corridor. She bumps into Philomela. Use of light. I have banged on about the lighting in this anime so much. There's a very dark contrasty hallway with the bright sun pouring in through the window, so you get that beautiful fade, that beautiful fuzziness that you get going on. Very nice attention to detail when it comes to lights as well. I was a little bit nervous that Philomela was about to attack Chisei, but the thing is, I think she does actually like Chisei. It's fine, it doesn't alter my theory or anything. I was worried she was about to attack her, but she is thankfully opening up and asking her for some more potpourri. Piano playing actually plays the main notes of the motif for the show, and it's open. Da 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 da. That bit. Haven't warmed up. I can technically sing, I promise. If you haven't been watching my other videos this week, I'm in hell right now. It is so hot. It's like, oh my god, so hot. Heat wave, heat wave, heat wave. 84 Fahrenheit for you Americans. Horrible, and I've got no air conditioning. Of course, if you are here for just the one video a week, you don't know that. Hi, I've been ranting about that all week in all my videos. Pity me. So unrelated, I did state to my mum recently that the next pet I get is going to be called Bramble. I like the name Bramble, so it was quite nice that it fitted in. The teacher goes, oh, it could also mean Bramble. I was like, oh, that's actually quite cool. I do actually own runes somewhere, I believe, under my bed. Back when young edgy Becca was 18, maybe, a while ago. I was really cool and I was like, oh, I'm into all this occult stuff. I like tarot cards. I like runes. They are pretty cool and I do know a few of the names. So I was seeing them going, oh, I remember that one. A lot of it will depend on how you you interpret it, which I think is cool, because he did say with Chisei, this rune could be protection, but I wouldn't advise it for a human. We do see Elias, when he protects Chisei, we see the use of the thorns. Awkward for me, the flirting, or not supposed to be flirting, but it comes across as flirting anyway. Flirting in the magical world is, can I touch your snake? I mean snakes. Zoe definitely was into it. Zoe says it's meant to have a special meaning to the Gorgons, and I'm like, yeah, I bet that is a sexual thing. I'm sorry, Lucy. But it is supposed to be a cute moment because Lucy misses her spiders. I get that, because if you miss an animal, like I've been missing my rats recently. I used to have 8 rats. They're amazing pets, guys. Right now I have a cat. She's great. She decided to jump on me in the night and stab me in the leg because there was a moth on me, apparently. As I said, it's really hot. I slept without the covers. I hate that. I thought I was going to die. Monsters in my room are probably going to drag me under my bed to the abyss. But what actually attacked me was the cat, because she saw the moth on my leg, decided to go all claws out. Screamed the house down last night because it was dark and all I felt was something stabbing me. Silver has taken a bit of a back seat because I think she's got a fantastic design. One of my talented friends made her costume. Absolutely amazing costume. Would love to cosplay from the show. Sadly, because of the stuff I do, the way I make things, the only character I could really do is Elias, but I don't have the build for Elias. Unless I do tiny Elias. I know there's a small Elias at one point when they're doing kid Elias. I don't know. It wouldn't be the same, I don't think. But I could not agree more with the sequence where we are breaking Chisei down. We're giving her a bit of a golding in a sense. We're giving her some advice as well, but she really is a character who does cause Elias a lot of worry. She does get a nice bit of taste of her own medicine a little bit later on, which a lot of her actions, I believe, could be a lot more thought through. There's a lot of times where she puts herself in danger, and there's always the thing is, it's good to be bold and brave, but sometimes there's moments where if you die, you can no longer help the people that you're trying to help. You're going to be no use to anybody if you get seriously hurt. So there's a point where you need to start relying on other people. You need to know when to pull back. I think it is a very nice sequence because Chisei needs to hear this stuff. I think a few times she's been told this stuff, but it's not quite going in because she's continuing down the same route. And I do believe that at some point, if she keeps on going, she's going to die. The centaur says, I can't remember his name, by the way. He says that there's going to be people who feel the pain more because you won't be around, and it's always the people who are left feel the pain more and it stays with them. Personal experience. I went through this last year with you guys. It does. I think the pain doesn't go away. You just kind of have days where you just completely forget it. It's always going to be there at some point. Something sad will trigger it and you'll remember the person who is no longer there. I really do feel for this. It's really wise advice. She really does need to find a smarter way, whether it's asking for help, being able to pull back a bit, even just thinking twice about her actions before actually acting, maybe. Alice sequence is quite a nice little comic moment where they bump into her and you think she's about to flip out. That is just her face, okay? Alice's face is just resting. I love the fact that the kid's like about to rip her apart, realizes she's older and taller and goes, I'm so sorry, I've made a mistake. I will actually apologise to you. That was quite a funny moment. I believe she's going to borrow the ghost sheet to try and trick-or-treat Renfred. Funny, but I think he is going to know exactly who you are. But he might give you candy. Maybe he'll give you something. You're trying to come across to Renfred as not childish, so maybe he wouldn't like it. But at the same time, I think he wants her to act like a child and actually enjoy her youth and not be like him, so he might like it. Chisei getting a taste of her own medicine as she tries to stop Lucy, someone just as stubborn and determined to do something dangerous just as you. Finally get a bit of a taste of her own medicine, and the irony that she realises this as well. Very nice moment. Did start to ring a few alarm bells because she was heading to the waste tower, and earlier when the tutors are talking, they mentioned that the likelihood is that the person responsible is in the waste tower, and I was starting to go, that's a bit weird. Also the fact that you've taken the time to mention this and now suddenly she's been lured to the tower because she has to go do something. It's a trap. Philomela was also the only other character present until the guys showed up, so it would have simply been the two of them once again together. And we've got this mysterious hooded voice villain. I'm going to call him a villain because of the VA. I think I know who the VA is. Sounds very familiar. However, if you go to the credits, they are not credited because it's probably just a small role. I believe, it's probably wrong, it is Nakamura Yuichi. I don't have any proof other than the fact that it sounds like Gojo and it sounds a bit like Sugar Ray from Fruits Basket. It's obviously the voice actor for those two. He's so used to being slightly bad characters that it really does line up that this bad guy is working with Grandma Mela and there to obviously enact the final act, and he's working with Philomela and she's probably here to lure her down there. Killed Lucy. I do believe the plan was to kill Lucy. Right at the start, she wasn't supposed to escape the Webster tragedy anyway. We saw Philomela was there being used to do the dirty work because her grandma don't like her. She's now at the school. Yes, they said she was supposed to be there on Veronica's request. I do also believe it's possible this could be a red herring, that all this time it's been Veronica, but we haven't seen her in a while. And for some reason, when I first saw her, I got a really bad negative vibe, but I can't exactly say why. Maybe it's just the fact that we haven't really seen her in a while, that it could still do the rug pull. All this time, it was actually Veronica. Could be wrong, but I still think my theory is pretty solid. Like the little detail that Ruth does not like citrus, a very powerful odour that dogs and cats do not like in turn. But the teacher who then came in to tell Lucy, it's okay, I'll get you another one. The alarm bell started to ring because it's like, oh, probably the person you were supposed to do it with. The people now waiting for you, Shigure boy, Philomela, they are there on the grandma's request to finish her off because there's going to be no one around. You're going to go and do some dark tasks, especially that smirk that he makes. Has she actually told you what you're going to be grabbing? You know it's going to be dark and you know this guy is evil. And me trying to ignore the fact that I've seen the teaser for next week and seen pretty much a confirmation there. It's obvious anyway. The last sequence at the end was quite nice as well, and the cats essentially all liking the head tutor because I guess she's maybe been a student there at some point and now they've grown up with her. That's also when I realised that it wasn't Grandma Mella, my bad. They just look the same. They're just old women. I'm sorry, I've made a really bad mistake there. We see in the letter that Philomela has withdrawn from school because her task is done. Well, supposedly done. Lucy was supposed to go down there, do the task and die. Philomela was supposed to, I guess, finish the job. Maybe the guy with her is just making sure that she definitely finishes the job because she's probably unreliable. I think there might be a chance that she might not go through with it. I actually think with Philomela now, you can see that she doesn't actually like what she's being forced to do. The fact that she was huddled in the corner in the Webster tragedy as a kid, not trying to kill Lucy, the fact that Lucy's still there when the brother comes. She is there with the wolf a bit of a while before the brother comes because the door's closed. There's been a bit of a gap between that scene and the brother finding her in the blood. Philomela doesn't like what she's doing. She actually wants to live and she's a good character. I'm not saying she's a bad character. She's a great character who's sadly being controlled by very bad people. Point is that Lucy's supposed to die. Probably because they wanted the spiders. Probably think that she's a risk, a loose thread that needs dealing with. My little breakdown of this week's episode. I hope you guys are doing well and you're not as hot as I am right now because it's absolutely horrendous over here. I hope you look after yourselves and have got some fun things planned for your weekend. I will see you for the last episode next week. I will give you my overall score. I will hopefully be seeing you guys in another video in the next season. Thank you so much. Look after yourselves. Bye bye.